So let's take a look see. And make sure you guys can hear it. Can you hear this?
Thank you for that, Sephiroth child. I appreciate you saying that. I kind of think that's true too, but unfortunately, you can't teach people not to be cowards. And unfortunately, um, these same three or four people whose name I don't even want to say because they don't deserve to have their name spoken in their garbage antics, still 4 years later, um, they're breaking the law, by the way. I don't know that they know or care, but what they are doing is the definition of online harassment. They are costing me work. They are ruining my reputation. They're spreading slander and lies. They're contacting people I have contracts with and interfering with that. I don't know if you guys know that, but that is called tortious interference. It is a crime.
Tortious interference. I would love to know where he's getting that from. Because that's quite the claim. I think harassment might be a stretch as well, because as far as I know, and as far as I've seen, now maybe I'm wrong about this, and maybe our fanboy will explain to me how this is the case. I haven't seen any of these people he's referring to contacting him or messaging him. And the most recent one that he has lost, like for work that he's lost, are work relating to going it is going to go visit that event at the middle school. And from my understanding and from what I've seen, none of these people that talk about him on a semi-regular basis are the ones who contacted that middle school. Now, maybe they did, but there's no evidence that that was in fact the case. And thus far, anybody who has contacted um, conventions have come forward and said that, yeah, no, I contacted the con and said this, this, and that. So, and yes, and even if they had, it would not necessarily be tortious interference, right? So now he's got his fan base whipped up into that these people are criminals, based on his opinion, I guess, because he doesn't like them. Imagine just how like simple the world would be if anybody you didn't like was a criminal and how that would not even come close to functioning or being a functional society in any way shape or form.
It is punishable by fine or jail time. And I'm trying to decide if I'm going to avail myself of that or not. Because I'm really, really getting tired. The Bible tells us to turn the other cheek, right? You've heard that phrase, turn the other cheek. Well, you guys, there you
The Bible says this, but anyway, my feelings.
there are only so many cheeks that you can turn before you have to do something. Um,
Oh, he's going to do something. I enjoy people who have like a little bit of notoriety interpreting the Bible to be whatever they want it to be.
I never wanted to get into any kind of litigation. The only reason that I did that before was because it was my last resort. I reached out to people privately. I apologized for any unintended offense, and nothing made any difference. People wanted to be hateful and destructive. They wanted to ruin me. They wanted to get me out of the industry, and so the lawsuit was my last resort.
Why? Why did people not like you? Why did people want to not have you around? What reasoning did those people have?
And I'm still um, I'm not going to take this lying down. And those people know who they are. I really
If you didn't want to go to litigation and litigation was your last resort, then and you lost the litigation, then your last resort is gone. How are you possibly saying that you still have any kind of recourse? He's still out here pretending like he's fighting some kind of fucking battle. People aren't going to stop talking about your behavior if you keep making your behavior public. And I'm not necessarily one to say that because people are talking about you, should stop what you're doing or that's a way to deal with harassment. The thing is I don't think Vic Mignon is being harassed, right? Yeah, 60-year-old man in a Hot Wheels shirt. I noticed that too, but I wasn't going to say it, so I'm kind of glad you did. I'm not convinced that he's being harassed. I do know that there are people who are talking about him, right? There are people who are talking about Vic Mignogna and talking about what he does and talking about that he's around and talking about he's doing this, he's done that, it's appropriate this, it's inappropriate that, yada yada yada, and people are fighting about it and yada yada yada, etc. etc. Thank you for the first time chat. That doesn't equate to harassment though, right? I just want to read out Feline's chat because it was a little bit long and it didn't. Not convinced it went all the way across. So Feline said, there are several prerequisites for something to be a possible tortoise interference. In the first place, one, there needs to be a valid enforceable contract. Two, defendants need to know of that contract. Three, defendant is intentionally attempting to get third party breach the contract. An actual breach occurs following the actions of defendant, and 5, actual damages. If the contract has a legal clause for end of contract that says a defendant informs a third party of that is fine. So basically, like, if people didn't like Vic Mignogna and he had a contract with this middle school and people said they didn't want him there and the middle school had a contract that said they were allowed to terminate within these constraints, then they would be allowed to. It wouldn't be torts at that point.
really don't understand what they think they're doing,
They're
but
talking about you.
it's illegal.
No, it's not.
And I'm already in the middle of looking into some very aggressive retaliation and resources to deal with that. So
That perfectly cut scream. No, we love you for it, Feline. We love the detail. Love the detail. But I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. If you make a show and you put yourself out there, people are allowed to and are going to talk about what you're doing. Right? No? Is that harassment because people are talking about you because you make your life or you put out this information? No, of course not. Are people like, am I getting harassed if people watch my shows and then talk about me in a negative light? No. Not everybody's going to agree with you. Not everybody's going to agree with your behavior. That doesn't mean they're breaking the law to do so.
yeah, yep, that's a good point, Thirsty for Chicken. These people don't care. They don't care about anything but their own attention. They are whores for attention. Loudmouth whores for attention. In fact, what's even really disgusting is they don't even know me. Can you even conceive of this, guys? These 4 or 5 people that are literally stalking me online and contacting events.
If you put it out in public, it's not stalking. That's not what stalking is. But okay.
Have never met me. They don't know me. They have no personal connection to me. They have no story to tell, no story. They have nothing. They have no connection at all. Can you believe that? It's really hard to even wrap your mind around.
You don't know these people. You don't have any personal thing with them, but you're out here talking about them. What do you mean? Breaking news, Vic Mignogna calls his former fans whores. I mean, that is a lot of the people who are, like, upset with and are talking about Vic Mignogna are people who were friends, or not friends, sorry, who were fans of his. So, there's that. We're not going to talk about Vic for very much longer. We're just going to get through this last little bit of part, and then we'll get past it.
Isn't it? That complete and perfect strangers would see this debacle, all of this garbage, as a chance for them to get some attention for themselves.
How can you be so, like, no, like, lacking self-awareness? This, like, the only how could you possibly, like, not, this is the thing he's doing. Wants attention. He just doesn't care if the negative, does he seem that upset to you? You don't get to put your life, you don't get to, like, put a live stream out where you're talking to people and then behaving in whatever way you're behaving, whether you think it's right or wrong, it doesn't matter. You're going out there, you're making these accusations, you're accusing people of being criminals, yada 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 yada, and then expect the people you're accusing to not talk about that amongst themselves. Also, the world is a small place, particularly within voice acting. Now it's gotten bigger over the years, right? Voice acting has gotten larger, the anime industry has gotten larger, and it's gotten more international, but it's still like a pretty small group of people who can all kind of talk to each other and can keep tabs on each other pretty easily. So it's not exactly like surprising for people to chat and know what you're up to, right? And that people will talk amongst themselves. Of course people are going to talk amongst themselves. Why would they not? Like, I don't understand what world he lives in, that the only time talking about him is appropriate is if it's praise. And if it's not praise, it's harassment and stalking. Like, people hate watch all the time. That's, like, not even surprising. I don't get it.
How pathetic is that? You are pathetic, human beings. I gotta
Oh
say,
yeah.
I feel bad for you,
Hmm?
except the part where you are threatening my livelihood. And you know what else? Taking away the opportunity of all of these fans. Think about that, you guys.
They're taking away the opportunity of all the people who want to see me and love me so much. How dare they? Set up your own convention then, my guy. Oh, wait, no, you tried to do that. He tried to set up his own little meet and greet, right? At that hotel that was like, you didn't call and book an appointment with us. You just showed up and expected to be welcomed here with open arms. And then they basically said to get out or he's trespassing. Oh yeah, this is super duper deflection. It's about whatever attention he gets. It's speaking of calling other people attention whores, right? Right.
Why should some bozo
For a voice actor, his voice cracks a lot, like a little out of control.
across the country, why should their opinion matter more than all of the people that were going to attend an event and wanted to be there and wanted to have me there? It shouldn't.
It's because it's about your behavior. Their opinion about you doesn't matter, right? So, like, if he has one flock of seagulls, there's a. God damn it, chat. Swear to God. There's there's one, it's not about the opinion of one or two people, right? It's about the how Vic's behavior looks to the outside and to conventions. Like, barring the fact that Sony did an investigation when they bought Funimation into Vic's behavior, and that is the reason why he is no longer affiliated or hired by, like, he doesn't work for them anymore, right? That's not one or two people having a grudge against you. That is company A bought company B and then did an internal investigation of company B to make sure everything was on the up and up, and they decided they didn't want to work with you anymore. Then people made inferences on that, like the public, who, when it was announced that you weren't working for them anymore. And why did the public get involved? Because you cried about it, right? So people who were like, oh, what the fuck happened? And then people started putting puzzle pieces together. Whether those pieces are right or wrong, or whether the puzzle fits, doesn't matter. The point is that your behavior escalated the situation. And you're continuing to escalate the situation by calling people who are talking about you being publicly out here on a soapbox, in, if it's not positive, it's harassment and criminal, which it is not. That is not how any of this works. You're allowed to have your soapbox, and people are allowed to talk about what you say and do on that soapbox. This is a two-way street, my guy. Bearer of bad news over here. I mean, I think it's interesting to talk about the dude because he's kind of like a case study.
It shouldn't. And we're going to be working. We're looking at some options here to take some steps. So I am very, very, very grateful for all of you, and I hope you'll continue to be supportive and kind and encouraging. It means so much to me.
Also, yeah, that's what Vic Mignogna was responding. That was his response essentially to the no longer going to a middle school event, which we have no idea why that event, or why he was canceled from that event or anything like that. We have no idea. The school announced that they weren't going to do it anymore. So. Anyway, that was that. I just thought it would be interesting to go and take a look to see what he was saying, if we're going to have a Vic Mignogna fan come on and have a little chat with us.